Bismillah walhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Listen, Imam al-Sha'rani, Abdul Wahhab al-Sha'rani, he mentions something that's extremely important with regard to the way that we're handling this new resurgence or the popularity of ilm al-kalam and the pressuring of people to learn Aqida by this means as though whatever it was that they understood of the basics in the past is invalid. Imam al-Sharani rahmatullahi alayh, with regard to the question of what is the individual that's a mukallaf, that's considered to be responsible in the Sharia, and we don't have the time to get into who is the mukallaf at this point, but in brief we will say the person that's responsible in the Sharia. What is it obligatory for that person to believe in? That's the first. The second, in response to that question, the basics of the deen, the arkan of iman, the cornerstones of belief. And there's some other points with regard to Tawheed at the basic levels. We find in Surah Al-Ikhlas and outside of Surah Al-Ikhlas the parameters for what sound belief is. But Imam al-Sha'rani, he says that all of these foundations are well known and established with every Muslim, especially every Muslim that resides among the people of Islam, even if they can't discuss those cornerstones of belief with the type of detail that the scholars of Kalam discuss those details. That is related by Shaykh al-Islam Uthman bin Fodi. He relates the statement of Sha'rani as he's engaging in his reformatory practices of education. He's drawing from people like Ahmed Zarruq, and he's drawing from people like Sha'rani. Imam al-Sha'rani brings that point up. Imam al-Sha'rani rahmatullahi alayhi also says, how is it possible for someone to seek proof for the soundness of these meanings by reason for what has been obligatory from the believers by means of intellectual proofs after the definitive proofs have been established from the Quran and the Sunnah to uphold what belief is? And this part I'm adding, to uphold what belief is. He says, I am amazed in this time when the ma'rifah or the gnosis or the knowledge of Allah is sought after by means of proof, and how those who do not study these proof is even called a disbeliever. Imam Sharani is getting into the problem that emerges at times with some of the students of Kalam, and we saw this with the rise of the Sanusiya movement during the time of Shaykh Uthman bin Fodio rahmatullahi alayhi. Perhaps that's one of the reasons why he's quoting from Imam Sharani, because there was a questioning of the belief of people during the early phase of the Sanusiya movement. And we even find that there's certain things that if not believed in, we find in Aqida to Sanusiya, the person is considered a kafir. And those things have to do with ideas from ilm al-kalam. He says, I am amazed in this time when gnosis of Allah is sought after by means of proof, and how those who do not study these proofs is even called a disbeliever. What was that person's state before he studied these proofs? Before he studied the proofs of ilm al-kalam? Was he Muslim or not? Did he pray and fast or not? Was he firmly established on the oneness of Allah Ta'ala and His kingdom, and that Muhammad is the messenger of Allah, or not? For if he believed in all of the above, then his state is that of the common believer. He should be left alone with what he has from Iman in accordance to his fitrah, in accordance to his fitrah, or his natural disposition, or her natural disposition. But if he did not believe in these matters except after studying the teachings of the scholars of Ilm al-Kalam, then we seek refuge with Allah from that school of thought, because this miseducation leads to someone leaving sound Iman. This miseducation leads to someone leaving sound Iman. Shaykh Uthman bin Fodi rahmatullahi alayhi, he realize that some people have elevated the science of Tawheed, in this sense, Ilm al-Kalam, beyond the reach of the rest of the community or humanity, to the extent of driving them away from it, because they have made it complicated, philosophical, intricate, full of debate, back and forth between the different groups. However, there is nothing greater in rank than the science of Tawheed, and there is nothing near to ease in it. Allah Ta'ala was content to make his attainment easy, and with regard to facility, drew it close to his servants. He further commanded them to adhere to the study of this science in the most basic judgment and decree. By his words, worship Allah and do not associate any other with Allah. And there you go, people. Guidance from the ulama. Don't complicate the matter, but make the way and the path simple